the past. So the weekly strategy sheet is 3 parts: past, present, and future. What I want you to start doing right now is think of last week. So last week was March the 23rd through March the 27th. I want you to think of what were your big accomplishments? What were the things that you accomplished last week that were worthwhile? Things that were, wow, that was great. So you could write that down in the celebrate column, or just write that down, just 3 or 4 or 5. What were some of your past successes? Okay, you can also put that in the chat box. I want to hear from you. What was some of your past successes? All right, past successes of last week. Okay, so past successes of last week, that's what you write down on the left. Now, if you can't find the chat box or something like that, email me directly, eric@ericpapp.com. When we get off the call today, I will personally make sure that you get this weekly strategy sheet, okay? So somebody says they've got a video complete. Okay, excellent, yeah. So just write down what you have in that chat box there, okay? Good, good. So that goes all in the celebrate. So I write down my accomplishments. So my accomplishments for last week. Okay, great. I did 2 great recording sessions, one for a client of mine in DC, and then the other one was to my list of folks. Great. So I write down all my accomplishments in the celebrate. Okay, that's to celebrate the past. We don't do that because we're constantly always trying to go to the next thing, and we don't take time to celebrate our accomplishments. When we start to celebrate our accomplishments, it gives us the motivation and the confidence to keep moving forward. Okay, I talked about that a little bit of that last week. Is our internal motivation comes from ourselves seeing confidence, our internal motivation comes from us seeing progress and what matters to us. And that's when we'll keep going. So if I see myself making progress, let's say in a fitness goal or regimen that I'm doing, then I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep on doing that. Okay, so that's the celebrate column. Let me go through them, then we'll come back in. Celebrate, check in, weekly priorities. If your week goes to SHIT or HE double hockey sticks, what are the big 3 things that you want to accomplish? Okay, what are those big 3 things that you want to accomplish? So check in the weekly priorities, 1, 2, 3. And I want you to be thinking of in terms of what's the number 1 thing I want to accomplish this week, what's number 2, what's number 3. And it doesn't have to equate. I don't care if you can get all 3 of these priorities done in one single day. That is totally fine. So time is irrelevant. I want you to think about in terms of these are the 3 priorities I want to get done. I have to get done. I really want to lock in and focus on just these 3. Okay. And this goes back to what I was saying last week is move 3 things a mile rather than 100 things an inch. And a lot of times we might have a to-do list that we're working from. We got to-do list. We got 10, 15, 20 items on there. We're just kind of pulling from randomly, but we're not sure if it's a priority or not with our current present. Okay. So check in with the present. Write down right now, what are your priorities this week? What's your top 1, 2, or 3 priorities? If you can only think of 1 or 2, that's fine. Write that down as I'm talking. Okay. Write down your weekly priorities. Now, the last part is the commit. That's the future. That's your objective and key results. You might hear of it as OKRs. Andy Grove, one of the famous managers working at Intel, very successful, he came up with this OKRs. Now, he got the idea from Peter Drucker, which was management by objectives. Now, John Doerr made this popular in the book, Measure What Matters. He was you could say, a disciple of Andy Grove, and he worked for him at Intel. And the whole thing with these objective and key results, and I love it, it comes from a great quote by Andy Grove. He says, where ideas are easy, execution is everything. And that is so true, especially in our current climate, especially with things that change and evolve. Our workspaces are changing and evolving, right? We're telecommuting, distractions are coming in. I've got so many things I've got to accomplish. This allows me to keep the focus. So the objective very simply is this. You think of 1 goal that you want to accomplish in the next month or quarter. So think of your most important goal this month or quarter, write that down. Whatever that is, that's what your objective is. That's what I want you to write down as your objective. My objective is to complete this video series. My objective is to reach out to all my past clients and check on them to see how they're doing in the midst of these times. Whatever it is that your objective is, that's the what. That's the what. Okay, so write the word what. That's the objective, is the what you want to accomplish. And then the key results are the how you're actually going to accomplish that. What's the 1, 2, 3 things that you can come back and you can start to look and you can say, okay, at the end of every week or so, okay, did I accomplish this key result? Did I accomplish it? Yes or no? All right. Now, as we go through this, we go to week 2, let's say you do this weekly strategy sheet, and the next week you can write down then your key results can change. That's the how you're going to get there. that can absolutely change to see where you're going to go. Okay, so the key results can change the objective. That's what will typically stay the same. All right, so this is the weekly strategy sheet. Here looks like we've got a visitor here today. Come on in. She likes to, when we talk about strategy and weekly strategy sheet, objective and key results, she gets fired up. All right, so past, present, and future. We've got a couple minutes left, 1 minute left. If you have to get off the call, that's okay. That's fine. I told you I want to give it 10 minutes, high energy, high value in this session. So past, present, and future. Now, for those of you that have just a little bit more time, I'll spend a couple minutes just going through this again. If you don't get the sheet, this sheet is in your chat box, okay? So it's in the chat box, and you can pull that up. Now, if you don't get it for whatever reason, just email me directly, eric@ericpapp.com, and I'll make sure you get this to you. So week goes in the top right. Hopefully you're writing down, or you've written down some of your accomplishments from last week. Now, here's why that's so important, because you're going to start to see, man, of all the things I did last week, of all the meetings and the emails and the Zoom chats, right, all these things I got on, what was really most important? And that's where it goes back to what I was talking about last week, was the 80-20, right? 20% of our time gives us that 80% of our results. So we're going to start to see what's giving us this 400-fold investment of what we're working on. So that's where we put down the celebrate. Okay, now you can have it personal, you can have it professional, it doesn't matter. I like to mix mine both in there. Okay, and then the check-in, that's the present. That's the present. So during this present week right now, what are the top 2-3 things that I want to actually accomplish? And then the commit. That's what I'm focused on in the future, that I want to future and what I want to accomplish. Now, not in terms of a year out, but just a month to the quarter. All right. So if I have a month goal, a quarterly goal, what is it that I'm going to accomplish from that? So that is the objective and key results. Okay. What is my objective? This is what I want to accomplish this month. All right. And the key results is the how, HOW, how I'm going to get there. Okay. I've got to set this plan. I've got to contact this person. This is a key thing. So now when you have the weekly strategy sheet, you can quickly glance. You can show this to your boss. You can see your boss's weekly strategy sheet. They can exactly see, hey, what are you working on this week? What are your priorities? Oh, my priorities are boom, boom, boom. It's wonderful to know what people are working on, because what's going to happen sometimes too is you'll hear somebody, maybe your boss or somebody will say to you, oh, you're working on that? That's a priority for you? Actually, we don't need to get that done until the fall. And then you say, oh, okay, great. Well, now I can change that. I can work on something else. So that is the whole idea here with the weekly strategy sheet explained very, very briefly. All right. Awesome.